Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of September 4th, 2019. Ginormous week this week, so let's get into it. First up, we have Batman 181, the facsimile edition. This is the first appearance of Poison Ivy. So, yeah, I'm super stoked with these facsimile editions that they're bringing out. I picked up the one for Ra's al Ghul. I picked up the House of Secrets for Swamp Thing. So I'm like, Poison Ivy, gotta grab it. So be on the lookout for those, but they're really, really cool. The paper stock is really great. It's the newsprint stuff, but it prints like it's literally the same like entire comic. So yeah, check it out. Next up, we have Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, number 5 of 6. Kang's universe stuff is unraveling, so we're going to see what happens there. But Crisis on Infinite Turtle Shells or Half Shells or whatever has been a pretty good series. Tyrion the Fourth has been done an amazing job on it. So next we have one from Jeff Lemire, and that's Berserker Unbound. I read the first one. I liked it. It's basically his Conan. So I'm curious to see where this Berserker goes in the real world. Next up, we have Books of Magic, number 11. This was we were shorted our copies because we lost an entire box on our shipment last week. So finally got these in. So Books of Magic 11, it's okay. It's not the best. I'm probably going to drop it after issue 12 because it's just really not grabbing me like I thought it was going to. Next up is a one-shot from basically a one-off from the current DC kind of mini event going on, and that's for Deceased. And this is Deceased, A Good Day to Die, number 1. So if you're reading Deceased, you may want to snag up this one shot because apparently it's going to see a lot of people dying. I don't know. It had Big Bart and Mr. Miracle on the cover, so I was sold. Next up is one people are going a little crazy for, and that's the DC Dollar Comics, but for Detective 854, and that's the first appearance of Batwoman. But it's also, this is the basically TV CW show Batwoman on the cover. So there's a trade out for the early Batwoman stuff that has virtually this exact same cover. So be careful when you're at the shop. You didn't grab the trade and not the dollar book. But if you're curious about the beginning of Batwoman, snag this up. It's really cool. I read it a long time ago, so I have an actual original copy. But it's always fun to get the dollar reprints and see what, and just brush up on it instead of having to go dig and find it. Next is a big one, giant one. And I must say it's been since May since we got a book from this. It was the last issue of this. It's 4 months. It's not good. But that's Doomsday Clock number 11. I've already read it. It's a fantastic, great stuff. Sets up everything for a great, hopeful ending to it with issue 12. If issue 12 is going to come out in 2019, who knows? The solicitations for December from DC come out almost in about 9 days. On the 13th of September is when I think they're slated to come out. So we should know whether or not Doomsday Clock's going to end in this year or if it's going to get pushed into 2020. I know Ryan Higgins is rooting hard for 2019 release, but we will see. So I don't know, but let me know in the comments below when you think it's going to release, in 2019 or in 2020. We're going to get the end, Doomsday Clock 12. Let me know in the comments below. Next up, we have The Dreaming, number 13. I've been enjoying The Dreaming. It's really cool. It's basically the universe of Sandman, but the world that he has and kind of the characters in it. Really good stuff. I've enjoyed it. It's great. Cy Superior is actually doing a good job on a book. I never thought I would say that in my life because most of the time I don't like Cy Superior's work at all. Next up, we have Fallen World, number 5. I think this is the final issue. I'm not sure. With Valiant, they've been doing a lot of mini-series for about 5 issues, 4, 5, or 6 issues. But we'll see if it's the last one. I've enjoyed it so far. It just continues the 4001 AD stuff and the Raw stuff, Ray stuff, Raish, I don't know, RAI. You tell me how to pronounce it. I'm horrible at that. But yeah, really good stuff. So if you like that futuristic kind of stuff, go pick up Raw and then or Ray, and then read 4001, and then you'll go right into this. So yeah, check it out. Next up, we have Harley Quinn at number 65. She fixed her sign because it got all busted up in the last issue. Because most of the, if you haven't noticed, all the fonts have been being destroyed in these Villain Months issues. And so Harley put hers back together. So regular issue of Harley's out, 65. I buy it because I like Harley. Next up is another Harley Quinn book, and it's one people are actually looking forward to, and that's Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, number 1 of 6. I'm curious to see what Jody Houser has in store for us with Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn going across country. So we'll see. But yeah, super stoked for that. Even though I do have a problem with the way something was published with it, and I'll get to that in a minute. Next up, we have Justice League number 31. Yeah, these are churning out like there's no tomorrow. I feel like there's a Justice League book every week. But really good stuff from Scott Snyder and Tyrion the Fourth. If you hear the horn, I live next to a train track. So yeah, you get that now in the background because the front door is open to get a little extra air in. So please bear with the train going by. Next up, we have a new one from Byron Michael Bendis. And that's the Legion of Superheroes Millennium, part 1 of 2. This is kind of setting up, bringing the Legion back into the DC universe, into the Rebirth universe. And I'm really excited to see what Bendis has in store for us. His Superman issue 14 kind of introduced the Legion and how they came about in this Rebirth era. So if you haven't checked it out, go pick up Superman 14. At the tail end of that is where all this stuff takes place. And then we go straight into this kind of from there. So I'm super stoked to see what this is all about and then see what we get with Legion going forward. Next up is another one I'm super stoked for, and that's Lois Lane, number 3 of 12. Greg Ruckus has just done a fantastic job on this book, tying it in with just the feel of that espionage, spy stuff, detective, all that great kind of genre stuff. In regards also to Event Leviathan. So yeah, really cool stuff. So can't wait to see what happens in the 3rd issue. Next up is a book that we got shorted, but we finally got our copies in, and that's Second Coming, number 2, from Mark Russell. I like the first issue, so I'm curious to see what happens in issue 2. But great stuff from Mark Russell. Most of his work has just been amazing. I can't recommend Flintstones high enough. Flintstones is just a really well done book. If you have not yet had a chance, check it out. The current Flintstones from DC. There's 2 trades of it. Mark Russell, they just need to do a single hardcover. It's just that good. So fingers crossed that DC will do it. Next up is a book that's a new book that's out. I don't remember. It's Tyrion the Fourth is writing it, and that's Something is Killing the Children. And this is issue 1. This is actually the Jenny Friesen variant. I was like, I want to check this out, but I didn't want to buy it, not particularly. But then they had a Jenny Friesen variant that was bitchin', so I decided to pick it up just for the cover. So even if I don't like it, I love that cover. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what that entails. I love Tyrion the Fourth has just done an amazing job on a lot of the stuff he's done. So I'm curious to see what his independent work brings us. Next up is a history-making issue, and that is Spawn 300 is out. There's about 16 covers to Spawn. This is the regular cover. I've picked up a couple more, so they'll be in the video in a minute. But yeah, I haven't read Spawn. I'm going to check it out. Scott Snyder helped pen some of this, so we'll see what that all entails. Next up, we have Supergirl number 33, moving on from crossing over with her cousin Superman. We're going to see what happens with Kara and all that stuff going forward. But Mark Andrenko's done a fantastic job with Supergirl since he picked it up. I love reading the issues, and they're really fun. And finally on my pull list is Superman Up in the Sky, number 3 from Tom King. Really, first 2 issues were fantastic. Just really well done stuff. I cannot wait to read issue 3. Tom King just has a way about his writing that really just draws you in and gets down to the core of the characters and kind of just gives you these really solid, poignant moments. Really good stuff. So if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely get Superman Up in the Sky. It's good stuff. All right, we're on to variants. So first up is a variant that was supposed to be in last week but wasn't, and that's for Action Comics number 1014. So I snagged that one up there. Deceased, A Good Day to Die had like four covers total. So here is the Deathstroke variant for A Good Day to Die. So pick that one up to continue the line of zombie faces that I have. I picked up the movie cover inspired variant for that, as well as just the random variant. They're just throwing an extra random variant in there. Who knows? I did pick up the Doomsday Clock 11 variant with Black Adam ripping that United States flag, and Creeper on there with Giganta. I can't remember. Really just great stuff in Doomsday Clock. If you haven't read Doomsday Clock, you seriously need to. It's fantastic. Frank Cho, of course, did the Harley 65 variant, and there's Harley with her wonderful hyenas. Now we get to Harley and Poison Ivy number 1. So I'm going to first show you the perfectly fine variant that I picked up, and that's the blank variant. It's a blank variant. Take it to cons, find your favorite artist, tell them, I want Harley and Poison Ivy on this, done by you, good, sold, done. Then there was what we call an art germ variant for both characters, but it was the same image. So I'm going to show them to you one at a time, and then I'm going to show you the problem with this book, or with these variant covers. So here's the Harley one. Really cool. Just boom, there's Harley. Awesome stuff. Then you have the Poison Ivy one. Boom, really cool, awesome, solid stuff. But when you put them together on the shelf, they don't line up. Look at that. They don't line up. It's horrible. You have to move the cover like that to get them to line up properly. So on the shelf, they look like shit. This is a case of a publishing company doing something stupid. I understand 2 variants, one for Harley, one for Poison Ivy. I get that concept. Makes you more money. But you could have easily, DC, done 5 covers for Harley number 1, Harley and Poison Ivy number 1. Done just the art germ, or regular cover, the art germ without slicing it down the middle, the blank cover, and then giving us a completely different put together cover of Poison Ivy and Harley that's actually a image that's meant to be split in half. So DC's huge failure on their part with those books this week. A lot of people are pissed off and irritated. They look like crap on the wall. When you go to line them up, it just looks like garbage. It's not anything anybody really cares for. And it honestly, it takes away from the enjoyment of Art Germ's art, for Christ's sakes, and the fact that it's Harley and Poison Ivy. So, big failure on DC's part. I really wish they would have, asked somebody's opinion before doing it. So whoever's responsible for that blunder should be fired, because you could have made a lot more money with making that just a cover and then doing another cover. Hell, get Amanda Connor to do a splash page of Harley and Poison Ivy that you can cut down the center and sell it. I mean, people would buy it, but no, DC didn't do that. So, epic fail. Legion of Superheroes Millennium has a, lo and behold, split cover. Issue 2 will have the other connecting piece. So we go from DC failing miserably at splitting a cover to DC doing the right way to split a cover. So this boggles my mind at how this was skipped. Lois 3 had a pretty cool cover as well, with her going shh. And then we have some of the Spawn covers. So let me grab those real quick. J. Scott Campbell did one for Spawn 300. So I snagged that one up there. Greg Capullo, love his art. He came back and did one for Spawn in his style right there. We did get a mashup of Greg Capullo and Todd McFarlane, which was kind of what we got in the interim when McFarlane was giving the reins over to Capullo. So we have that cover here. And of course, we have the wonderful Spider-Man 300 parody homage variant. So it's right there in all its glory. It's Spawn, not Spider-Man. Tricky part with these is they're all $8 books. So sorry about that. So, I mean, I got 5 of them, so that's $40. So it sucks. yeah, so find the one you love the most, get that one. But yeah, overall, I'm curious to see what this is about, but I haven't really read Spawn in a long time. Next up is Supergirl 33, so I decided to pick that one up, the variant up there. And of course, I did have a reading list one this week, and that is House of X #4. So 3 was fantastic. Like, again, House of X and Powers of X, really great. Do they need to be 2 books? No. And I said that from the beginning, and I'll keep saying it till the end. But I did order the House of X / Powers of 10 deluxe hardcover, which collects all of it in order, which is basically just one goddamn miniseries. So, yeah, all right. Done doing that. I did grab some trades this week. The first one I picked up was Batman Damned. This is the Brian Azzarello, Lee Bermejo concoction that is famous for Batwing. For those of you who are fans of Batwing, that's not in here. But it looked like a cool styled hardcover, so I decided to check it out and pick it up. It is sized just like the magazine oversized thing, so that's slightly annoying because it's going to stick out on my shelf. Let me see if I can show you an example. So we're gonna put it right there. Look at that. What is this? This is the end. This is me going back. Like, seriously. So this will probably get its own spot somewhere. But yeah. So if you want a hardcover version, go crazy. I did pick up kind of a interesting thing that I want to check out since I work at a high school. I kind of try and get check out things that are different that might work. So there was this Wait What? A comic book guide to relationships, bodies, and growing up. So it's really good for middle school or late middle school, early high school kids for sex education and all that stuff. So I'm really curious to see how well they did it in this form. So so we'll see what it entails. But I'm super stoked to try it out. And I wanted to plug something real quick before I end officially here. We were finished recording episode 417 of the Comics Conspiracy Podcast, and we had John Morrow on, who is is the founder of the publishing company TwoMorrows. That's TWO Morrow Publishing. They did a Kirby and Lee Stuf Said book that's kind of goes over the history of Kirby and Lee and Marvel and all that stuff and everything that happened with it and all that stuff. So I was really kind of talking to John. We did the interview. Really kind of just he made me curious about the Jack Kirby stuff. I never really been a fan of Jack Kirby's art style, but a lot of people say his writing is amazing. So I decided to pick up with Kevin Sharp's awesome opinion as well, the Mr. Miracle, Jack Kirby Mr. Miracle trade, which collects Mr. Miracle 1 through 18, that old Kirby stuff. So I'm going to try out some of the Mr. Miracle stuff. And man, look at that art. It's so old. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm really curious and excited to check that out. Which might mean I might end up getting a Fourth World Omnibus. So who knows? That's it for this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle's @BrockSager. You can listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy Podcast. Like I just said earlier, we just finished recording episode 417, where we have an interview with John Morrow from TwoMorrows Publishing. And you can check that out. There'll be a link in the description below for the second edition of that Stuf Said Kirby book, which I'm super stoked trying to maybe get a copy and check out. And we answer some listener questions and all that fun stuff on the episode. So there's a link in the description below for that. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting fees, getting food sometimes, and also getting products. So thank you very much to all our Patreon backers. It helps out immensely because, man, this stuff is expensive, especially when you're like an idiot spending $40 on Spawn variants. Don't know why I do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll get rid of them. Who knows? But yeah, you can also help me out a little more directly if you purchase anything through any of the Amazon links here or on my website, conspiratorbrock.com. If you click on it and buy that, or you click on it and go through and buy something else, I get a cut of whatever you purchase. So thank you to everybody who does that. It helps out immensely. And you can also check out my eBay page, which there's a link in the description below for that as well. And I just have I think 40 some odd listings up of stuff that I'm purging through. So check it out, buy that. If you get that stuff, that helps out really much. So thank you very much, guys. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm kind of getting moved in. The background's getting there. My son Brody helped me unload 5 long boxes, 5 large diamond boxes, 7 large diamond boxes, 16 small diamond boxes, and about 2 other big diamonds, just to get all the stuff that you see here behind you. There's more over here and everything down below. Big thanks to my son for helping me do that. He was a champ and stayed until 11 o'clock helping me. So yeah, but he's a big guy, big strong muscles now is what he says. So yeah, so it's coming along. It'll hopefully get back to some normal semblance soonish. Yeah, so again, leave any comments down in the comment section below. And as usual, I will see you next week.